talking about Invincible. No, never mind. Actually, we're talking about Atom Eve, as it says in the marketing. But this came as a surprise to me because I can't speak for myself, but I really enjoyed the first season of Invincible. Well, what about you, Patrick? Have you read Invincible or have you seen the show?
I have not. I've not read the comics. I watched most of the show. You and I talked a little bit about it. Right. Watched most of the show because I fast forwarded through some of it.
Yeah, I fell in love with the book. And I don't think it ended very well, and I think it had certain arcs that were not very good.
Yeah,
and there's aspects of it that are dated, but it does a lot right.
There's also some things that change the world irrevocably.
Yes.
Which I'm like, how are they going to do this in this series?
And I really liked the first season. If I had any big criticisms, I felt like a lot of that first season, they did have the important stuff with the family, with Nolan and the mother and everything, and all that was great family. But the rest of it, kind of felt almost like a little slice of life.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, isn't it fun to be a superhero? And I feel like that's when the Neville thing that happens at the end is so shocking because it's meant to.
Yeah,
because we're having fun.
By having that, hey, it's going to keep it light, and then at the end you get a reminder of yeah, but this is the real shit that's going on.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, we can't just have fun, can we? Mm-hmm. So so when you get to the end, after all that kind of playing around, it's just even more, it hits you more in the chest.
Yeah, no, exactly. 100%. With the adaptation, just overall, I really enjoyed it. And so going to this, I was like, we'll see what we have this Atom Eve special. But I did not expect what we got with this, and I just color me impressed. And for people that don't know, this is focused on Samantha Atom Eve Wilkins, who pretty much discovers that she has these powers in which she's able to manipulate matter itself, bends it to her will, but just she doesn't know how she's able to do these things, and she learns about her origins and her past, and that is, in typical Invincible fashion, it is traumatic and fucked up.
Yep.
And if you need more context, we'll go ahead and take a look at the trailer, and we'll come back with our review. When I first saw this, I didn't even see this trailer. So when I first started up, I saw it 50 minutes. I'm like, okay. And it has that cold opening, which kind of acts as a reintroduction to the world of Invincible. It's like, hey, remember all the Guardians of the Globe when they were alive? Here they are again.
I'm Andy.
And of course, we see Omni-Man, everything that's like, all that. But then it moves away from that, and we primarily focus on Atom Eve and her origins and her upbringing. And I would say by the 20-minute mark, I was completely captivated. I was like, I can almost see this being its own standalone series, just following her. In a way, this might be controversial. Her kind of background, her origin, her childhood, is even more interesting than Mark Grayson. Obviously, he has that big inciting moment with his father.
Yeah.
But her entire upbringing, I'm just like, wow, I feel really, really invested. How did you like how they handled the introduction to her as a kid? Initially before she gets her powers.
Well, I mean, the thing is, with Mark, he had a pretty vanilla life until he got his powers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
even once he did, things were going pretty well for him.
His dad is the most interesting character on the show, not him.
Okay, so a part of the problem for me with watching this is that I'd read the miniseries.
Right.
So I knew all the beats were there.
See, I didn't read it.
Right. So nothing here was a surprise other than how well it was done.
Right.
How well they did an adaptation of it. It also confirmed that Stephen Root is in everything.
Man, he really is. He really is.
I got to show you something.
Stephen Root?
I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Oh my God! I'm a huge fan. No, man. When I didn't even recognize. There's a couple of voice actors. I was like, is that who that is right now? And it took me a little while to realize it was Stephen Root. Because Stephen Root, to me, I know you feel the same way, Martin. I'm sure you probably do as well, Patrick. Stephen Root's I think he is one of the best, if not the best, character actor working today.
Yeah.
The stuff he appears in, and he's in everything, but he's in different types of stuff.
Oh yeah.
He'll do a dramedy like Barry.
Yeah.
He'll do something as ridiculous as Office Space or Dodgeball, or even voice acting.
Yeah.
Like he's the voice of Bill in King of the Hill. He's fantastic.
He's completely versatile.
And I want to go into more details about it, unless you wanted to bring anything
no.
up.
Just saying that. But no, they, even though I'd read it and knew all the stuff, it'd been a while. So it was kind of like a refresher, but like, I remember how this went. But they really fleshed it out in a way that pared it down and made it, one where you start watching it and you can't stop. And yeah, you don't, but from watching her in Invincible, she just seems like another teenage chick with powers, and you just don't know all that it has gone on for her.
And to that point, I think that is the reason why they probably did this special. It's like, I know, they had the comic and they had that origin, but because she felt just kind of like a supporting character that, to be honest, doesn't get a lot to do, because it's so focused on Mark and his family and Omni-Man, who is so interesting. So it's like, okay, before we get introduced, we get into season 2, and I do believe they're going to focus a lot more on Adam Eve now.
Well, a big thing with the Invincible so far is that he's paired up with Amber. So she's taking up all the oxygen. Yeah. Even though with every episode, people are like, yeah, I'm starting to get sick of her.
Yeah. She is a toxic girlfriend.
Yeah, she's pulling that whole, how dare you not show up? I don't know, I was saving the world. That's your excuse?
Rude.
She is, yeah. Pretty much. And so, I like that we just had this special, but it did things, again, I had not read the original source material, that specific spin-off comic, and so, like, some of the stuff that it was tackling I thought was interesting. And it's not just her, we're not just introduced to her with her powers, it's like, let's actually look at her childhood and how kind of sad it is.
And believe it or not, that's magnesium. I have no idea what that is, but it looks super cool.
You would think, parents would be overjoyed to learn, like, their daughter is a genius and a chemistry whiz at such an early age. But man, this episode, more than anything, they are the ultimate villains. these parents, you despise them, and it makes you even more invested in Sam's and Adam Eve's story, because, and I don't know, I read it, and I don't know if anyone else felt this way, but so much of this episode felt like an allegory for a child that has autism. That is just so misunderstood, and the parents are like, we wash our hands, we have no idea, and like so often, like the dad's like, she's a weirdo, like they have so many issues with her. Yeah, but I liked how it handled that in a really mature way.
What is the crux of their, just like, I guess almost like disgust?
Yeah,
they just have such a. Why can't you just be normal?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the thing they say over and over.
Okay, I thought they were gonna be like, we like God in this house, not molecules.
There's some of that.
Yeah, okay,
definitely. Yeah, they just wanted to raise your prototypical American girl. Her parents treat her as a freak. Other people treat her as a freak. And to me, it just felt like an allegory for autism, where people just don't know how to interact with people that have that. With this episode, I was like, I didn't notice any flaws in the animation. Again, I don't have as good an eye with that. Certainly, someone like you. So I'm curious if you notice anything. But I was very impressed with the action scenes and the choreography and the animation overall, especially like this one, which is kind of near the climax of the episode. I'm sure he's fine. But yeah, I mean, stuff like that entire sequence I thought was great. And there is, again, body horror. That's been a theme today.
Oh, boy.
There is a lot of really disturbing body horror in this. I mean, in general, Invincible, especially this episode. I love.
Goes pretty Akira.
Yeah, man, that's exactly the design, especially for these abominations, is all I'll say. I want to get into too many specifics with them because there's some big spoilers. But yeah, I love their designs because they're so grotesque and so sad. But overall, is there like any other moment in the episode that you want to talk about, Martin, that you really enjoyed? You think people should know about?
Man, there's stuff I could, but I don't want to spoil anything.
Spoil. Okay.
Yeah, just you covered a lot of things that don't go into what is really going on, which I appreciate. But yeah, to really go further.
Yeah.
But I do like how this sets it up so that when it comes back, people will have their eye on Adam Eve.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's why they put out this episode, is because they thought they didn't focus on it enough in season 2. since they were so busy setting up the Omni-Man and Invincible plot line, they're like, okay, since we're going to bring her back, let's get people invested, give a reason why people should care about her. And so I think they did that really effectively. And yeah, I love this episode. It makes me so excited for season 2. And for me, I would give this, it's a full price. It's a full price episode. I recommend it. What about you, Martin?
Yeah, same thing.
Full
Same
price.
thing. Damn. They did a fantastic job of doing an adaptation. There was no point when I was like, well, why that? I was like, oh, yeah. No, this all works.